Today we're going to be working on a purse organizer. This is just a plain sample to show you the technical aspects of it. It's got pockets, lots of pockets. You can customize the size, the width of the pockets so that it fits your phone and whatever else you need to put into your purse. And then it's lined, fully lined, and it's got these pleats on the corners to give it some stability and shape. And then you can put it into your purse or your tote. And then when you switch bags, you switch this and you don't forget any of your crucial stuff. So I'm actually going to be stitching it up using some garments that I no longer wear. I'm just gonna recycle, upcycle these garments. So I've got this romper. It's pretty cute, but for some reason this style just doesn't flatter me. So I'm gonna cut it up. This is gonna be the outside of the purse organizer. And then I've got this Oxford shirt that, again, just doesn't do it for me. So this is gonna be my lining fabric here. And then I don't have to go to the fabric store. I can just use what I've got. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm going to show you how I cut out the pattern pieces and assemble the purse organizer. You can find this and my other patterns on my Atelier Joy Etsy shop linked below. Please like and subscribe. I'll be adding more tutorials on a regular basis. So if you do decide to upcycle garments or recycle garments for a project like this, I recommend just cutting along seam lines. That way you can maximize the amount of space that you have. So cut along the seams. If there's any plackets or cuffs, you want to cut those off. So your biggest pattern pieces are your body lining and body exterior. So I ended up using the main parts of my garment for those body lining and body exterior. And then I ended up using these sleeves to cut out the pockets in the exterior fabric and the lining fabric. Of course, you can do this however you want. You could go out and buy fabric by the yard. It's up to you. And this is also a great project for using up scraps. So if you've got just a half a yard here, a quarter yard here, you can fit these pattern pieces onto your scraps and put together some fun pattern play. And then you're going to cut out interfacing for the body, 2 pieces of interfacing, and apply it using your iron. That's going to go on the lining side of the body. Okay, so the first sewing step is to construct your pockets. So you're going to match up an exterior and a lining piece of pocket in the same size, right sides together, and then stitch those on your machine and leave about a 4-inch gap on one of the long sides so that you can turn it right side out when you're done sewing. Then clip those corners to eliminate the bulk in the corner. And turn your pockets right side out. Then use closed scissors to push out those corners and make them nice, sharp corners. Then you're just going to press to get that nice and crisp. And you're going to top stitch along one of the long edges, the long edge that does not have an opening in it. I like to do all of my pockets at once in this train, as you can see, and then just clip the threads at the end. Now you're going to place your pockets onto your body exterior and your body lining. What you want to do is center it in between the right and left sides, and then you want it to be about 1.5 inches up from the bottom edge. Make sure the top stitched edge of the pocket is facing up. That's going to be up towards the top of the bag. And it's up to you whether you have lining on lining, exterior fabric on exterior fabric. Now you're going to top stitch the pocket onto the body, and you're going to top stitch along the sides and the bottom edge, leaving the top open. All right, now it's time to stitch some dividers into these pockets. This is all up to you. What are you going to be putting in these pockets? How big is your phone? Are you going to be putting hand sanitizer in, or pens, scissors? So figure out what sizes you need, and then stitch vertical stitches on the pockets to divide them up. Here I've chosen to do one pocket where I've split it in half. And so these pockets are the divisions are gonna be relatively big, so I can fit a phone in one side or the other. And then on this one, I've divided it up into thirds. So this is more for vertical stuff like pens, lipstick. So it's totally up to you. You can divide them how you want to, and then just top stitch. Okay, now that you've finished your pockets, we're going to be assembling the body of the bag, the exterior and the lining. So here I'm sewing the lining. You're going to sew along the sides and the bottom, but on the lining you want to leave about a 4-inch opening on the bottom so that we can turn it right side out at the end. So you see here I'm back stitching, snip that, and then I start again on the bottom about 4 inches from there, and then I go all the way to the corner and up the side. You leave the top open. And for both the exterior and the lining, you want to be sewing right sides together. And here we're sewing up the exterior of the bag, again on the sides and the bottom. This time we do not need to leave an opening on the bottom of the bag. So it's one long seam, down one side, down the bottom, up the other side, and leave the top open again. All right, it's time to do our pillow corners. These are going to give us nice corners at the bottom of the bag. So what you want to do is open up your lining and press it with your fingers so that the side seam is kind of matching up with your bottom seam. And then you're going to use a ruler. And what you want to do is line up that ruler where the edge of the fabric hits 2.5 and where your seam right in the middle hits 1 1/4, and draw a line across there. Then you're going to stitch on that line. You're going to do this for your body exterior and your body lining. Make sure that you pin the seam allowance open so that it's not too bulky. Now you're going to cut out that extra fabric. So clip about 1/4 inch outside that pillow corner, and that way you're eliminating all that extra bulk. And using a tailor's ham, if you have one, press open all those seams. Press those seam allowances open, both on the lining of the body and the exterior. Now it's time to put the body lining and exterior together. So first turn the body exterior right side out, and with the lining still inside out, slip that body exterior inside the lining. Match up those side seams with the seam allowances open and pin those seam allowances open. And then you're just going to go around the top, matching up all those raw edges and pin in place. Stitch all the way around the top of the bag, making sure you stitch those seam allowances open. And then using that opening on the bottom of the lining, you're going to pull the exterior out. So you should have one big piece now with the lining on one half and the exterior on the other half. And you want to pinch that lining closed where you had the opening. Just fold those edges in along that 4-inch opening, pin it in place, and then you're going to top stitch as close to that edge as you can, making sure you get all those layers in place just to close up that opening. Push the lining to the inside. You want to push those corners out. Finger pressing along the edges to make sure that's a nice crisp edge at that seam between the exterior of the lining. And then you want to use your iron to press as well. Make sure you don't have the lining peeking up at all. Now you're going to top stitch along that top edge about 1/4 inch from the edge. And the final step is to create these vertical pleats up from the pillow corners. So just press straight up from those pillow corners up to the top and then pin it in place. And then you're going to stitch about 3/16 of an inch from the edge, from the top, almost to where your pillow corners are, about 1/4 inch above the pillow corner. This will give your organizer some nice shape and stability. You can find the link to the pattern and my Etsy shop in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll be adding more tutorials on a regular basis.